Can't hear me? Oh, I can hear me.
Bap bap.
Hello.
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 Bit of a delay.
Hello.
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 There is a bit.
Do it again.
Hello.
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 This is all going in. This is all bants.
Oh, is it? Do I look like
Plastic monster.
Yeah. Do I look like a gimp with the
No.
headphones on?
Look, really sexy.
Do I?
We'll get more subscribers if you do that.
Post that.
This is all going in.
We'll put I'll put the photos in. It's actually really nice. You look really good.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah.
Should we start?
Yeah. Let's go for
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Full Frame, where today we're going to say really where we are, or we're going to lie and say we're at
some made-up film exhibition.
We're at some made-up film exhibition. Definitely not at the National Franchise
doing our
Exhibition.
real job.
We're doing our real job today, but during a little break from our real job, we're going to be taking some film photos on our film cameras. How do you feel about that?
Bloody brilliant.
Yeah. So what film are you going to be using in this particular video? Over this weekend, we are going to be filming 3 videos, which will be going out on the channel.
We're hoping.
We're planning,
Yeah.
if we've got time.
Yeah.
But this one in particular is black and white.
Oh, so this is
The
the
battle
intro
of the black
for that?
and whites.
Okay.
Yeah. This is the battle of the black and whites.
Yeah, so I'll have a Tri-X 400.
Why do you particularly like Tri-X?
I just like the grain, high contrast, proper punchy.
Yeah.
It's just a classic street photography look. So it's good with people. And I think I shot it. It's good with flash as well. Shot it on a night out with flash once, and
I've seen some of
it's
them.
amazing. It's just I don't know.
I've never used Tri-X. I need to get some and try it.
Yeah, it's like high contrast, but still a lot of detail. You know, it's not like blocky.
Yeah.
But yeah. So what are you going for?
So I'm using Ilford XP2
Yeah.
Super 400. I like it because it's cheaper to develop because it's C41.
Yeah.
I also really like the look of it
I
because
think it's cheaper to buy at Ilford. Obviously, it's cheaper than Kodak.
And it's like there's not a lot of contrast.
Yeah.
So I shot some 120 Ilford recently, XP2, in the Isle of Wight, and I really liked how it looked kind of flat, but it kind of looked like then Wes Anderson films when he used black and white. It's kind of like that kind of look, and I really liked how that looked.
Yeah.
So that was on the 120, and I just like how it looks generally on 35 as well.
Yeah. Yeah, we have completely opposing opinions
we were talking
on
about
black
this.
and white because whenever I've shot XP2 and I've shot it 35 and 120, both times I've taken it into Lightroom and punched up the contrast because I was just like, I don't like that. It's too low. I know film is usually low contrast, like in comparison to digital, but that I don't. It's too low contrast. I like the punchy high contrast stuff.
So just talking about that, like how much do you edit your photos after you get them back?
Rarely ever. I only edit if I'm scanning it myself, and I'll do a bit of color correction. It really depends if so my scanning software, you put in what film it is, but if it doesn't have the film, then if it doesn't have the film listed, then I'll sort of just go with what I think looks nice or what looks real. I think I try not to go too crazy. Like that's why I don't like. That's why I think we both fell out of love with Cinestill, is because we were getting it back like blue from the developers, and it's like, you know, I know it has a green tinge to it, but like I just prefer it when it looks real. So I always color correct that.
Yeah, I started doing that with Cinestill as well. Like with our London
I mean, we
one.
spoke about that. In the last, I sound like a broken record now. Like, I said that in the last one, but yeah, like there's a recent photo that I posted on my Instagram from London that I didn't even consider at the time being a good photo, and then I watched our London episode and it popped up and I was like, hang on, that's got some potential. So I went through my negative, scanned it in, because I didn't have a scanner when I first did that. Scanned it in, and straight away the colour was better, and I took a bit of contrast out of that because that was too high contrast, too bit dark in some spots. So I just made that a bit more real looking. You know, obviously it's got the halations and stuff, but the colour wise, it looked just a bit more real looking. And I was really happy with that. I mean, it's one of my favourite photos, and it's so funny. It just sits in the archives for like months.
Yeah.
You know, it's always worth going back through old rolls of photos just to see what's in there.
Might be like that one you just sort of skimmed over, because you might have just skipped through it when you get it.
You do get blindness. You do get blindness when especially if you're with digital. It's worse because you're flicking through so many photos. I always come back to my photos a couple of days after because you really get blind to what's actually decent. You get sick of editing stuff.
So should we start the actual episode? So this is Battle of the Black and Whites.
Yeah, Battle of the Black and White. Wow, that was a tangent.
We do tangents
tangent.
quite well.
That's okay. This is the podcasty bit, isn't it? So we can do a tangent.
So we're not doing a reaction to these photos. We're just going to show you us point of view kind of stuff. Yeah. Maybe some of us shooting, but we're just going to show you.
You'll still see the photos, but there won't be a voiceover.
It's up for you to decide if you're watching this. Yeah. Whether if you like them or not. I'm not going to say. It's not for me to say.
Get lucky, yeah. Yeah. Oh, gone. Lovely. Yeah. Why is he your mate? Every time I go fully serious and straight into lens. Yeah, no. Nice. Serious. Yeah. Cheers, Mark. Yeah, cheers. Oh, come on, Mark, grow up.
What were your first thoughts on what you saw? I know when we were watching that.
Yeah, I did have a few comments. I tried to not say anything while we were watching it. Surprisingly similar, but you can definitely see. Obviously, we're only looking on like a little screen that's across the room, but I know for a fact you can see like there's more grain in Tri-X, I think.
It's definitely the dark bits are darker.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So yeah,
the
shadows are darker. It's definitely more contrasty, but not as contrasty as I thought.
No, I think maybe the room helped that because it was quite a dark room.
I think it helped your XP2.
Yeah,
the Tri-X looked like I always expect it to look, but your XP2 looked more contrasty than usual. I think outside XP2 is more flattened. Yeah, you know, I just think it just picks up the shadow details more, whereas Tri-X just sort of, you know, it's very punchy and dark. And I think I don't know if this was like, could have been aperture settings, but the XP2 looks a bit softer sometimes. Doesn't look as, but that could be like the grain. It feels like it's got a bit more sharpness, Tri-X, due to the grain, you know? Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of photos in there that I really like.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a lot of people you either know or like you sort of, because there's people in it, and we're at an event where they were sort of responding to the camera being there. We've got a lot of thumbs up and a lot of people like posing.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to the, like, have you changed your mind about the films? I've bought some Tri-X to use now. I haven't used it yet. So it'd be interesting to use that. But I think XP2 will still be my go-to black and white film.
Yeah, I don't know. So I've shot a 120 XP2 and I really didn't like it. I don't know if it was it was only one roll, I think. No, I did 2 rolls of that actually, and they were both the same. But I don't know if it was my settings or what, but it just didn't work out how I wanted. I just had to edit all of them to be as contrasty as I wanted them to be. You know, like they all just came out really grey and flat. And then I don't actually know if I've done a 35mm roll with XP2.
I've done loads.
Have you?
Definitely been my go-to.
I feel like I must have, but yeah, I think I did early on. I think when you told me about it, because the appeal is that it's C41, and at the time when we were using Analog Wonderland,
it's cheaper and quicker.
It's cheaper and quicker to have C41. But yeah, so I think I did do a roll of 35. But I don't really, off the top of my head, I can't remember any photos from that. So I think I'll still stick with my go-to is probably still Tri-X, mainly because I've got loads of it.
I think it's because we've only been doing this for like a year now. But when I first got that roll of XP2 back, I was like, it was the first time I was like blown away by like, oh, I'm a genius. These are all brilliant. Yeah. So it's kind of like in my head that I love XP2.
Well, and we were both, I think, disheartened by black and white in general. Yeah. With our first experience, or one of our first experiences being Delta 3200.
Yeah, I said it was the first one, yeah.
And there was a combination of things that just made that a really rubbish roll.
Yeah.
And I think we both didn't shoot black and white for quite a while after that. And then you gave that XP2 a go. And then when I started like getting into like looking into more street photographers, like New York stuff, the black and white guys were mostly shooting like Tri-X or one of the other ones.
HP5?
No, one of the other Kodak ones. There's another Kodak one. T-Max. That's it. Yeah. T-Max. There's Tri-X and T-Max. They're like
haven't tried either of them.
Black and whites.
So interesting to see.
Yeah, I've not tried T-Max, but I think the T-Max goes up to 3200. They do a 3200 version and a 400 maybe, or one. I don't know. I've not looked at, never tried any of them. Only tried the Tri-X from Kodak.
Is that the only other black and whites you've tried?
Yeah, I'm trying to.
I've done HP5 on 120 and 35.
Yeah, I've done HP5.
And I've liked both of them.
I've done HP5 and 120. I think I've done more 120 black and whites. Maybe. No, I've definitely
done one.
Okay, I've done.
120.
I've done Ortho, that Ilford Ortho. Do you remember that?
Some of that. Yeah.
80. It was 80 ISO. Really nice that actually. Just a bit hard to use because it's low ISO, you know.
Yeah.
Tri-X obviously 3200, the Delta, Ilford Delta 3200. HP5.
I've done the Ilford range. I've got Agent Shadow still. You've done
Washi S.
Yeah.
That's about it. I definitely have not delved into black and white too much, but I do find like there's not as much.
Yeah, so I did black and white in Margate, and I showed some of them on the podcast last week.
Yeah.
And as I was
that was
shooting
XP2, right?
Yeah, and as I was shooting, I was like, I wish this was colour.
Yeah, but that's a good example of outside XP2 outside. They were definitely flatter, weren't they?
Yeah.
No harsh blacks and no bright whites either. Really, it's very
sort of greys
in the middle. Yeah, but I think that's good actually because it makes it quite versatile. If you're open to editing, it really gives you an opportunity to basically it's like shooting raw or log video. Like it starts out flat and it gives you the opportunity to edit. It picks up all the detail, and then if you want to make it contrastier, you can. If you want to make the sky look whiter, you can, or like clouds and stuff. Yeah. So for that, I think it's actually quite versatile outside.
There's not a lot of difference though, I don't think.
No,
there wasn't like a marked difference.
Yeah.
Like if I hadn't put the titles up and people had to guess, or we had to guess, I think we might struggle for some of them.
When you take the same photo side by side, you can see XP2 has a little bit more detail in the shadows and not as contrasty, but especially inside, I think that was the key. Is I've never really looked at like how black and whites perform inside, and I don't think I've ever shot Tri-X indoors either. Really, the thing is with black and white.
I've done Kentmere as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've shot a roll of Kentmere. The thing is with black and white is it's kind of one of them things where like you're not necessarily going to get a better like looking film if you spend more or anything like that.
So I did Kentmere 100. I took that on holiday because I thought if it's going to get fried by the X-ray, it didn't cost me very much.
Yeah.
And it came out really well.
Yeah. I mean, Kentmere is actually really good. Like, just does what you want it to do. And I think like editing black and white, there's a lot you can do with the editing, because colour is just so much more in depth. Whereas black and white, it's just so easy to edit. Like if something's not quite right, I think you have an opportunity to fix a photo. So yeah, I definitely would not be. Although I say that Tri-X is probably some of the most expensive black and white. Yeah. I was just about to say I wouldn't be interested in buying like a more expensive black and white, like that Cinestill one, BWXX, something like that. Like not really bothered about trying that. But yeah, like I say, Tri-X is probably the most expensive black and white on the market. So let us know if you have any ideas for any more showdowns. Yeah. Any other films you'd like to see side by side. That could be interesting.
Do Cinestill.
I'd like to do
Reflex.
Yeah. Oh shit. That's got to have been done recently.
I think we wrote down Cinestill versus Candido.
Oh yeah, and then like we've done Cinestill versus Silver Source. Yeah. But I think a film that we've never used before, that we've both never used. So if we find it could be a black and white again, but I think a colour would be more interesting. So a colour film that we've both never used side by side. That could be really interesting, couldn't it?
So thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you haven't yet, remember to watch last week's podcast. That'll be good as well. Cheers.
Bye.